They said he used one of those weapons to deliver a fatal shot after he was run off the road by the two citizen heroes we were talking about earlier. Now, we were talking about also, they said he did have a dishonorable discharge, and normally that prohibits people from purchasing handguns, but he did buy all the guns legally between 2014 and 2017. He was buying about one gun a year. He bought 2 in Colorado and 2 in Texas. Now, from my government source, what he was discharged on a bad conduct discharge, and what they call it a big chicken dinner. And but he said that would not preclude him from purchasing a weapon. It's not the equivalent of a felony. So there you go. People were on social media last night saying it was against the law for him to purchase guns and he had to get them illegally. Well, now we've learned that is not the case. Let's see what else we have here. He was exchanging texts with his mother-in-law. So he obviously had a beef running with the mother-in-law who went to that church, and also his ex-wife, or his estranged wife, also taught school at the church. Let's see. He wore a skull face mask when he went in there and started doing these killings. So if you can imagine, man dressed in black, a pullover ski mask with a skull face on it going through. And they did confirm, law enforcement officials did confirm that there was video of taking place there at the scene. So like a lot of churches, they broadcast or they tape their services and then put them out on YouTube or other services where people can watch them who can't make it into church that day. That's a service that's done by many churches. So this church was no different in that. So they had video running at the time of this shooting. So they're reviewing that now. And they said he spent considerable time in the church. From what we were told, it was around 5 minutes he was inside shooting down the center and then going up the right and then coming back outside and facing the plumber with a shotgun. He was apparently, he had anger towards his mother-in-law. And going back to the victims, the death, originally we were reporting between 5 and 72. Those were people who were shot who are still in critical and stable condition. But the victims are between 18 months and 77 years old. I also heard yesterday from a local that there at least one lady in there was pregnant. So you could add another death onto that death toll to make it 27. I'm not sure if they're counting the baby in utero as a human life. Of course, we at InfoWars do consider that human life. At the end of the press conference, the pastor and his wife came on. Now, they had a backup pastor. It was a fill-in pastor was there. Him and his wife were killed. They were the first victims in this senseless tragedy, this evil murder, this evil act by an evil man is really what all we could say. But we heard from the pastor and his wife from the first time. Their 14-year-old daughter and I believe their 5-year-old daughter were also shot. I'm not sure the age of the second girl, but she was younger. They were also shot and killed. They had this bit of advice to people, and I want to share this with everyone out there. They said, look, I don't understand this. I don't know how this happened. I'm leaning on the Lord right now. That's all I can do is lean on the Lord. And that's what he told everyone else to do. Whenever a tragedy strikes like this, don't try to make sense of it. Just lean on the Lord. And that's the advice he wanted to give. They also closed the press conference with a prayer, which I'm sure pissed off a lot of atheists and liberals out there. So the people of Sutherland Springs are standing strong. We're heading back there now. We were doing a report driving over to the scene of where he had his ultimate demise, where he, as I've been saying, died like a dog in the ditch. That's a phrase they say in Texas because you see a lot of dogs alongside of the road. They get hit by cars and they end up dying in the ditch. And this guy was definitely a dog. He was an evil person. And the people of Sutherland Springs did not deserve what they got, especially the innocent children there who did nothing to this evil person. So with that, we're going to close this out, and we'll be filing more reports on the road. This is Rob Dew reporting for Infowars.com. Don't forget, you can go to the free streams at Infowars.